Have you ever wondered what your real purpose is? I mean, it's one of the biggest questions we ever ask ourselves. Well, what if I told you that your story didn't start the day you were born, but way, way before that?
Yeah, I want you to just picture this for a second. We're talking before the first sunrise ever broke the horizon, before the earth was even a solid thing under our feet, before time itself even had a name.
In that vast, timeless space, there was God, the very beginning of, well, everything, the source of all that we can see and all that we can't even begin to imagine.
And here's the most incredible part. In that timeless eternity, He knew you. And that, right there, is where your story really begins. It's not on your birth certificate, it's in the mind of God.
So let's dive into that. Our first big idea is all about being known before time, because, like we said, your story didn't start at birth.
And you know, this isn't just some nice thought. It's right there in Scripture. Jeremiah 1:5 puts it so powerfully. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Just let that sink in for a second. He didn't just know of you. He set you apart. You were appointed. It's like your mother carried you, yes, but God was carrying the plan for you.
This whole concept, you could call it divine design. It's this beautiful idea that your life isn't just a roll of the dice, Not some cosmic accident, no. It's a deliberate, intentional plan. Something created out of love, with a purpose that's so much bigger than just a career or a hobby.
Okay, so if we were known and planned for, then what was that original plan? What were we made for? Well, that brings us to the original design, which is all about being made to rule, not just exist. You can find the blueprint for this right at the very beginning, in Genesis 1:26. It says, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the earth." That word, rule, is everything. It tells us we weren't just made to kind of float through life. We were made to actively govern, to reflect His authority.
And this creates a huge contrast, doesn't it? Think about the labels the world slaps on us. Your job title, your family role, your financial situation, they're all temporary. But God's design, that gives you an eternal identity. You're an image bearer. You're called to rule. You're a key part of a divine plan.
But like in any great story, a problem shows up. That problem was sin. Now, sin didn't erase the original design. That's super important. But it definitely distorted it. It's like it put a crack in the mirror, fracturing our ability to rule and making it really hard to see who we were truly meant to be.
But that distortion is not where the story ends. Not even close. And that's what brings us to our next chapter, A Purpose Restored, and why Christ came into the world in the first place.
Remember how we started in the timeless beginning? Well, the Gospel of John takes us right back there. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And then, the Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us." That's Christ. He didn't come to make things more complicated. He came into our messy, distorted world to bring clarity, to basically reconnect us to that original purpose.
So if our purpose is restored, why do we still get so easily sidetracked? It's a fair question. Well, the Apostle John actually breaks it down into 3 major distractions. There's the lust of the eyes, all the stuff we see and just have to have. Then there's the pride of life. That's our ego, our own ambitions getting in the way. And finally, the cravings of the flesh, just wanting what feels good right now. We get caught up in these things and forget about our much deeper calling. Okay, so we've covered the design, the distortion, and the restoration. That's the what. But now for the big one. How do we actually live this out? How do we find that purpose in our day-to-day life? Well, that's exactly what the Path to Clarity is all about. It's a practical journey. This whole journey back to our true purpose can really be boiled down to 3 key steps. It starts with surrender. From there, we move to revelation, and it all leads to obedience. So let's break down step 1, surrender. And listen, this isn't about giving up. It's actually a very active choice. It means you have to consciously let go of the ambitions that you know deep down aren't from Him. It means owning up to the pride and the distractions we just mentioned. It's basically having the courage to pray that prayer from Psalm 139. Search me, God, and know my heart. Okay, so once you surrender, you create space. And in that space, that's where revelation comes in. You can finally start to hear. This is where you actively pray for clarity.
You start asking the big questions like, why was I even created? You ask for the wisdom to tell God's voice apart from all the other noise in your head, and you start dedicating your gifts and your time back to Him.
And all of that brings us to the final step, obedience. And please hear me on this. This is not about being perfect. It's about having the right direction. It's knowing you can't do it alone, so you ask for the grace to follow through. You start declaring, yes, my life is aligned with His purpose. And maybe the hardest part, you learn to trust. Trust that you haven't missed your chance, that His timing is always right.
So when you put all this together, what's the bottom line? It's this. You have a divine assignment. You are absolutely not saved to be ordinary.
I really want you to let that sink in for a moment. Your life is not an accident. It's not pointless. There is a specific divine intention behind your every breath. God didn't go to all that trouble just so you could, exist.
And so you are not your profession. That's just what you do. It's not who you are.
You are not your circumstances. That's just the situation you're in right now. It's not the final definition of you.
Here is the ultimate truth of who you are. You are the plan. You are that specific, unique, unrepeatable thought that God had before He even started creating the world.
He saved you for a reason, to rule, to serve, and to reflect His glory. So really, there's only one question left to ask yourself. Are you ready to step into it? Fully, faithfully, and with everything you've got?